All right, folks, back on the Bossman show, friend of mine, Coach Amir Abdur-Rahim, Kennesaw State Owls up there in North Cobb County, getting it done up there. Amir, how's it going, brother?
Man, it's going, man. Just getting back into the swing of things. After last year kind of being a really odd year for sports, man, it's just good to be back on campus, see students, be in the gym, not have to test 2 times a week and all that stuff. So, man, it's good, man. It's good.
I've been seeing you on Twitter, man. Your team doing a lot of things in the community in Kennesaw. And to tell me about that, brother, how you want your team to be a part of the community of Kennesaw and be out and be visible and be seen.
Yeah, man, boss, man, it kind of goes back with you and I talked about, probably the first time we ever spoke. And it was when we got the job here, it was, people didn't know us. Some people didn't even know we had a basketball team. You know what I mean? And so what we tried to do, man, is instead of, trying to get people to come to us when the first game starts, man, we tried to go out and be a part of the community. We did a little tip off with women's basketball. We called it Owl Madness on the Green. And it was sort of like a Midnight Madness type of deal, but instead of, trying to get, students these days to come inside, man, we just went and kind of threw like a little block party on campus, man. And, had a DJ, had music, had food, and man, we ended up having almost, 500-600 students come out, man, which was really awesome. So, just trying to connect with our campus, connect with the community and do our part.
No doubt, man. And my ask you is, brother, like, how was it for your guys, man, be able to be around each other this summer and actually work out together and not do it over Zoom and have to do it on their own? Because I know when I played Amir, when I was home in Georgia, I wasn't the same guy when I was up in Nashville playing.
No question.
Around my guys. So how was it for your guys this summer, man?
Man, you know what? It was therapeutic is what it was. I think for all of us, man. Because last year, we thought we were going to have a summer last year, got them here in July, but didn't know what it was going to look like. Didn't know, what we could do, what we couldn't do, and think about it, boss man, like last year we bring these kids in and we have 8 freshmen, we have 10 or we had 11 new guys all together, right? So 8 freshmen, 2 junior college transfers, and a couple walk-ons, right? And it was wild because, man, the things they normally, like the bonding that they would normally do in the summer, they didn't get that chance to. The pickup games in the summer, they didn't get a chance to do those pickup games, so we like hit the season, man. And to be honest, we were better, but we didn't realize like how far off we were, until we go play UAB. And man, it's a total shock to us, because we didn't get a chance to scrimmage anybody else last year. It was just practice against yourself, roll into the season. Maybe play the game, maybe you won't. You know what I mean? But not having the summer last year and then having the summer this year, man, was therapeutic because we were able to coach basketball. We were able to develop relationships on the court through the work, just getting in there, putting in one-on-one time with the guys, team workouts with them. But then they were able to, play pickup. They were able to go in the gym and shoot together. So it was obviously totally different. But I think if you ask them, they was just like, man, it was a sense of normalcy.
And Amir, I feel like for guys who are hiding in your year, it was your year 2. So it kind of puts you starting over from scratch again almost. I know my man Crafton up at UMES in the same position where last year threw off his progress from year 1 because it's kind of like getting ready to count because of all of what went on. So you're having to reset again in year 3 here, get this thing back the way you had it going at momentum from year 1.
Yeah, I mean, like this is how I looked at it, man. I almost took, before last year, not almost, I did. I took spring and summer workouts for granted, right? Like just, like, man, we gonna do them, but not really understanding how important they were to the development of your team, not just your players individually, but to your team. And so, we in year 1 and, man, year 1 was really, it was about changing like, culture. It was letting people know every night we played, regardless of the outcome, man, we were going to play hard, you know, and that's the one thing year one I thought we did, regardless of the record or what, man, we competed, like we played hard, right? We just didn't have enough, right? We just didn't have enough. But then you go into year two, thinking you're going into year two, no spring workouts, no summer workouts. And again, it more so the freshmen than anybody, man, these dudes were thrown in the fire. Chris Youngblood, Brandon Stroud, man, these dudes were thrown in the fire. Really, if you think, like, I look at it like this, like Terrell Burton was a freshman again last year because he hurt his knee, you know, second conference game of the season or the year. And so he didn't have spring workouts. He didn't have summer workouts, you know, on down the line. So it literally it wasn't even a reset last year. It was, man, you better go in here, you better figure it out and go from there. So now the great part about going into year three was we had spring workouts in the weight room on the court, right? To set the tone. We had summer workouts, you know, to build, you know, leadership, to build development, to build team chemistry and bonding. And man, look, I'm not gonna be the one to make no excuse. Like, it is what it is. You know, we got to make do with what we got to make do with. But the truth of it is if you ask anybody last year, period. I mean, look across the board, man. Duke struggled, Kentucky struggled. All these great programs struggled, you know, because they had new kids in their program, and these are great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches that had great, you know, elite talent. It don't matter if you can't work, if you can't develop, if you can't build chemistry. It don't matter. You know, so again, man, we were, you know, the best part about last year, Bossman, was this. And again, it just tells me like we're gonna continue to go in the right direction. You know, in a world where, man, it's really me, you know, especially with a younger generation, man, we played every game that was supposed to be scheduled. We had no stoppage, you know, because our guys, you know, they knew, look, man, we got to protect ourselves. We got to stay safe if this is what we want to play these games. And so we literally played every game that we were supposed to on our schedule, except one, like at the end of the year against Florida Gulf Coast, because they had some stuff come up. We were good. They had some stuff come up. So, man, I was proud of it, you know, and I was proud of the steps we took last year.
You should be proud, because I mean, I talk to coaches in your conference. They all tell me how good of a job you're doing and how hard your team plays. So your own peers say it about your team as well. That, hey, they say, Coach, we're doing a great job. His team plays hard every night. It's not they don't give up no matter what. They play hard. So you, even your own peers in your own conference, come on my show and say this about you, brother, that your team plays hard every night.
No, I appreciate that, man. I got a lot of respect for the coaches in our conference, and they've been good, man. You know, you compete against guys, but, you know, at the same time too, you take the Richie McKays, you take the Lenny Acuffs of the world, man. Those guys are really good dudes, man. And just like our team is learning, man, I'm learning. Like I give you a good laugh, man. Like I'm sitting here going into year three, and I find myself at times like, man, boy, you didn't have a clue year one. You know what I mean? Like you had no clue, you know, what to do, what to expect. You know, like now, you know, having those 2 years under your belt, you know how to approach certain things. I mean, not just being truthful. There were times I thought it was a stretch last year, Bossman, where, man, we had a chance to turn the corner. You know, I really believe that, you know, because we had lost, man, maybe 4 or 5 games, like close ones, man, you know, 4 points or less, something like that. And man, we're going down to North Florida, but we had lost. I can't remember who we had played. It may have been North Alabama or Bellarmine. And man, I was so fed up with losing these close games that, like, man, I got out of character with my team, you know, and had I handled that situation a little bit better, right, man, I think we probably go down to North Florida and get one or two, you know, get one of those games, you know, and then who knows what happens after that, you know. But I didn't realize that until, you know, man, you get time to reflect, and I'm like, man, God dang, I handled that wrong, you know, because again, when you're building it and you're trying to build leadership, like make it be a player-led team, you got to be the one to lead, right? And so if you go out of character, they're going to go out of character, you know, and we go down to North Florida and we lose 2 close games, you know. But the good part about it was I still have a good staff, man. These dudes, they tell me the truth. Ben Fletcher was the one who told me, like, hey, man, you gotta relax, man. It's a process. You know, sometimes you get caught up in the result. You know, you get caught up in the result a lot. So, you know, I'm fortunate. I really am.
Bro, you sound like me how I sound when I first got on radio, bro. Like I figured this thing out 5 years ago. This is my
Yeah,
10th year. It took me
yeah.
to year 5 to figure this thing out the way I figured it out.
I'm telling you, man, it's
so
a
so
process.
so yeah, this is my 10th
Process.
year doing radio. So yeah,
Yeah,
man, you called me in 2012. I wasn't this polished or refined. I was a
right.
loose cannon.
Oh man.
If an answer wasn't what I wanted it to be, I would go off
Right,
on the
right.
air.
I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. I'm like sitting there one day, and I'm like, man, why did you react like that, man? Like, because instead of like I saw it, like the effort was there, man. We just didn't know how to win. Like
Yes.
man, we be leading games, man. And it was like I could see it on their faces. It's like, no matter how much you work on it in practice, because I mean, we do end of the half, end of game situations all the time, man. And man, like, no matter how much you work on it in practice, you get to the game and, even the limited amount of people we had in the stands last year, it's still like, man, I would see their eyes get big. Again, in my opinion, we're starting 4 freshmen in Terrell Burton, who I consider the freshman still, because, he didn't have a whole freshman season. We started Chris Youngblood freshman, Brandon Stroud freshman. And then, well, I should say 3 freshmen. And then after that, you're starting Spencer Rogers, who, is really in his second year of Division I because he plays a year at Troy and he's a role guy, right? Goes junior college and then comes back to D1. And we needed him, to be the guy, right? And then you start a kid, Alex Peterson, who in his first year in junior college, he walks on and then earns a scholarship. But now you throwing this dude in the fire like, hey, man, like y'all gotta help us, and it took Spencer Rogers literally, man. I'll never forget. We were playing Jacksonville here the first weekend, I think it was, the first weekend of conference, and it's the second game. And man, he probably got 14 points, boss man, but like he could easily be at 24. I mean, he passing up shot. Man, I call him over and I'm like, my man, would you please go be the guy? And his mom is sitting across and the gym is so quiet. I'm like, my man, would you please go be the guy? And his mom was like, yeah, coach, tell him. So you had guys still trying to figure out like their role,
yes.
Like what we want. And again, it took us to January to do that because you didn't have the summer. You didn't have to, say a scrimmage and an exhibition to figure out, okay, man, this guy, like, all right, we got to start pushing him to be the dude, and he's got to understand he's got to be the dude, So again, man, it's a process. That's all I can say, man.
I hear that, bro. I hear that, man. And a lot of your roster, Amir, because you got some veteran guys now that you brought in, and some young guys in that pipeline, and that this extra COVID year helps you build some sensibility going forward because you need that, and then you're making your program. So I feel like next year and the year after that, watch out for Kennesaw State.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like and again, as bad as I want us to, man, take a huge step this year is going to be a process. Again, we're a year older. These guys are a year older. They got, I guess now 24 games under their belt, probably, somewhere between, 75 and 100 practices under their belt. But you look at our schedule and we're rolling up against some heavy hitters, man. We're rolling up against some good teams and good programs, and it's going, we'll figure it out, But the one thing I know about our group, and about our program is that, we're going to be the same every day. We're going to compete every day. And I think because of those, I think we lost 7 games last year. I was telling my brother and I were talking, and I said, yeah, man, last year, we could have easily been 12-12, instead of 5-19, because we lose 7 games by 5 points or less. In those games, they could have went either way, man, we got that experience of losing close games. All right, now what do we do with it? Do we grow from that? And again, we won't know until we get in those situations and figure it out.
No doubt, like you said, like a lot of it is just a player or two here and there. It's a deflection, rebound. So I always tell people about records. Say, look at the score, not the record. Because the score tells you what kind of game it kind of was. That's why I tell my listeners all the time.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, if you look at our scores from year one, man, we was getting the brakes beat off of us, man. I mean, that thing was 20, 25, 30 sometimes. You know what I mean? Last year, I think we like Creighton and UAB were like that, but, maybe our second Liberty game, you know, we were playing those back-to-back games. I think we ran out of gas that game, but like we weren't, you know, the games were close games, man. Like, you know, we were right there. You know, at times I thought the moment, you know, got too big for us, but the moment almost got bigger than the game. Like, hey man, just continue to do what you're doing. Like this is what it is. Don't worry about what they're trying to say or what's going on over here. Stay focused in on this moment. And again, so that's what we honed in on that a lot this summer. We talked about it a lot. We talked about it becoming a player-led, player-driven team. And because that's the next step for us. You know, that's truly the next step.
And I love your roster, Amir, because you have a lot of people from the area on the roster, a lot of Metro Atlanta people on the roster. So you're trying to also build a branch of the community where, hey, we're here for you. Whether it be got a high school guy or a guy that goes high major, upper mid major, and say, hey, I'm from Georgia. I want to come back home. Yep. So now you come to Kennesaw State because you're building something that's special. I see it. I know you guys are playing hard. Other people seeing it. So I'm like, if I'm a young man, I want to come back home, I'm going to give you a call. I know Kennesaw State get me in quicker than I can probably somewhere else in Georgia.
No question. No, that's been our focus from day one. You know, it's hard to take them all. You know, I think Coach Lanier down there at Georgia State, man, he does an unbelievable job, you know, in recruiting. But we want to be in those type of battles where, you know, we are competing against those upper mid majors, right? And then when those kids, you know, say they go a step higher than they probably need to, we want this to be a place where they can bounce back, you know. But I tell you like this, boss man, like in the Metro Atlanta area, man, it's a lot to do, right? Like it's a ton to do, bro. And the truth of it is. You know, you want to get people in the stands. You want to get people coming to the games. And, you know, if I got a choice, if a kid has a choice between going down to the Battery and hanging out or coming to a game, you know, more times than not right now, they're going to go down to the Battery and hang out and come to a game. But you know what, if they went to high school with Chris Youngblood, or if they went to high school with Kason Jennings or Terrell Burton, or, you know, one of these guys that are you know, our local guys, man, now they're like, nah, man, I'm gonna go see them play. I'm gonna go see TV play. I followed him in high school. Same with the, you know, the parents and just the different people that have followed these kids throughout high school. And then, you know, even trying to, you know, dip into Alabama. You know, two of our bigs on our front line, one's from Mobile, one's from Montgomery. You know, so we're trying to make sure we cover, you know, not only home, but we cover the Southeast, you know, because there's just a ton of good players. And so again, you know, being able to bring a kid in here like Damon Robinson, man, you know, from Murray State, who's been a part of winning and can do some things that we haven't had here in the past, man, like that was a huge win. That was a huge win getting him. So, man, excited about him, excited about all our kids, man, you know, excited about Chris Youngblood going into his second year, excited about Spencer Rogers, you know, now knowing who he is, he knows who he needs to be, you know, and then I'd say the dude, man, that, you know, I'm really proud of, and I'm on his butt every day, but man, Terrell Burton, you know, just, you know, growing the way he's grown, you know, they just put out our Twitter feed, our SID just put out last night. They mic'd him up at a practice last week. And just to see that video, man, and it's not, that wasn't just because he was mic'd up. He's been like that almost every day, you know, we've practiced. But 2 years ago, man, that dude wouldn't talk. Like when we got him as a freshman, we couldn't get him to call the play out. You know, he'd be like, just say the play was Baltimore. You know, he'd be like, hey, Baltimore. Hey, my man, you got to say that with some command. Like they got to hear you.
Yes.
You know, and he just looking at you like, I said it loud. Nah, my man, you didn't. Now, man, he don't even look at me no more. Like he calling the game, you know? And so again, it's small victories, like, you know, that we find to let us know that we're still moving in the right direction.
And Amir, I had on Josh Paz when he talked about how good of a job you're doing. He talked about how you all connected up how you, Rob, Greg, all you guys are one big family. Sammy Clark and Morehouse, you all are a big family. Talk about the connection between Georgia coaches, how you all are as one. So we got playing each other. It's one big family.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it like this. I mean, you look at the job that Josh has done, and I think, you know, people are so quick to jump and say, well, man, that's a bad fit. You know, he shouldn't have that job. He don't know nobody in Atlanta. You know, man, you look at the job that dude's done, man, you know, and being, you know, similar to how we want to be from a standpoint when kids go away, they come back, you know, to be able to get kids like Davon Smith, get kids like Kyle Sturdivant, you know, and so on and so forth. It's really cool to be a part of a coaching fraternity like in this state, like we have between Josh Pastner, Rob Lanier, Coach Crean, you know, Coach Berg down there at Georgia Southern, Coach Gary at Mercer. I mean, them some high level coaches, you know. So when I'm in here, you know, not that we're competing against them, you know, per se, but like I mean, that's motivation for me, right? Because I know those dudes are on their job, you know, in every area between, you know, X's and O's, recruiting, you know, game planning, how they go about it, you know, and I want us to be in that conversation of, you know, the better programs in the state, you know. So yeah, it's really cool. Rob has been, you know, Coach Lanier has been somebody, not that he even had to, man, like that, somebody that's just, you know, supported, man, in a way, you know, he and Cliff Warren, who's on his staff, both those guys have supported us in a way, man, that to be honest, you know, if, you know, Kennesaw State, Georgia State, we're going after the same kids, you know. Mm-hmm. But we hadn't allowed that to come between, you know, what our relationship is. Like, you know, they got a kid, Jamal Kleiss from Pebblebrook, Georgia State did. And I love Jamal Kleiss. You know, I love everything he about. And when Jamal Kleiss went there, man, I text Rob, I was like, man, that's a big time get, man. Like, I love that dude, you know. I thought we were going to have a chance to get him, but, you know, you get Chris and you get Brandon in that class before him, and he's probably, you know, maybe looking at it like, you know, but he goes to Georgia State, and more importantly than anything, he's going to be with a man and men who can develop him, you know. So, yeah, the guys in this state are great, man. Like, you know, it's never any, you know, negative recruiting, talking down, anything like that, man. It's just we go do our job. We just, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, you can't get everybody, but the ones you get, you're going to celebrate them.
No doubt. And see, you folks, me and Amir cool for one reason. We both are March dudes.
Yes,
our birthday is a week before Amir's birthday is. So,
yes, sir.
So yes, sir. We in the same month, a week apart, man. That's why we so cool, because we Pisces brothers with a week apart for our birthdays.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, man. I mean, like I got a buddy, man, and we were talking about this the other day. He was like, man, you know, he was like, man, you know what's crazy? He's like, man, like all I ever hear you do is celebrate people, you know. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, what I'm gonna hate for? Like, I was like, but I mess with him like, man, you know, Pisces people don't really hate like that, man. We kind of in our own lane, you know, we in our own lane, we minding our own business, you know, we gonna help out when we can help out. But like, man, like what you doing ain't gonna affect me. Like, I'm not worried about that, you know, because that's gonna take away from my energy. So no, you 100% right. 100%
yeah, I just be like, man, look, we chilling, man. Look, it's all good.
Yep.
When March come around, it's all good. It's tournament time for our like. See, think about my birthday is just, it can be hot or cold. We don't really know what's going to be. It could be an 80-degree birthday, or it could be a 40-degree birthday.
No question. You know, I tell you this, man, two of my most memorable birthdays, man, were playing in the NCAA tournament. You know, we go, when I'm at Murray State, man, we beat Vandy on a buzzer beater in 2010 on my birthday, man. Like, one of the best memories ever. And then I think my first year at A&M, or second year at A&M, first year we go to the Sweet 16. We beat who did we play? Golly, Wisconsin Green Bay on my birthday. So like I take that back. It was our second time going to the Sweet 16. We beat North Carolina on my birthday in Charlotte, you know. So like, that's the thing, man. Like, now when it comes to that tournament, man, you could be out west, you know, and the weather is nice, right? Or, you know, and I've been fortunate, you know, we've even been out, well, we was out west, but then one time, man, we had to go to, we were in Oklahoma City when we, my first year, and it was freezing in Oklahoma City in March. It was cold as I don't know what, man. So yeah, it just depends on where you at, man.
For me, it's usually the Atlanta Hawk game or the SEC tournament in Nashville.
Yep.
Because mine's 11, so it's pretty much like, okay, I'm either be in Atlanta or the Hawks game or in Nashville for that tournament. And the COVID year, I was at the Hawks game.
Yeah.
And that's when it went down. So forever, on March 11th, I remember that's when COVID hit.
Wow.
Was my birthday.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, because you know what? I went to the Charlotte Hornets game, I think.
On the 9th.
On the 9th. Yep. I went to the Charlotte Hornets game on the 9th because a kid that played for me played for us at Charleston, a kid named Joe Cheeley, was on their roster that year. And so I just went to go see Joe. Man, you come back 2-3 days later,
Yeah.
man, they like, hey man, shut this deal down.
It was funny, Amir. My last road trip was March 7th in Memphis of 2020. Then my first road trip again was in Memphis again on October the 9th. So of this year, it felt good to be on Beale Street at the Westin Hotel we stay at, right across from FedEx Forum, and get booed and get told it felt good again. Coming to FedEx Forum and get told, screw you, F the Hawks, F this, F that. I'm like, it's felt good. Like I had seen Brevin Knight in over a year. My guy had seen Pete Prenick, all them, Elliot Perry, all the guys I know in Memphis. I seen them like last time I was here. That's time I saw you.
It's crazy.
I saw you guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, when we went out on the road for the first time in June, man, it was like weird, man. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, because it's like normally, before COVID hit, man, you sitting at the games, man, you see you guys, man, you give them a big hug, all of that. Man, we went out in June for the Georgia high school team camp they had up here at Lake Point. And man, like you see guys you done known for 10, 15 years, and you like, man, do I dap them up? All right, man. Like,
I've been doing dap and elbow.
Yes. And then you sitting like it's not like, spaced out. You sitting back in these tight quarters again, And so, my wife and I, we had our son June 1st. And so I'm still, I'm vaccinated. I was, at the time I was vaccinated, but I'm still wearing my mask, and I'm like trying to sit away from everybody because I'm like, man, I don't want to be taking nothing back home to this little dude, man, and messing nothing up, man. So it was weird, man. But I'll say this, man, as the summer went on, man, like that feeling of just being in the gym again, and you see the parents and the AAU coaches and the college coach, you just like, man, it was nothing like it, man. It's nothing like that feeling.
No doubt, brother. I got you on my schedule to come up there and see you all play. So I'll be up there at KSU, see you play, man, cheer you on, because I'm biased. I'm cheering for you.
Hey, boss man, I appreciate it more than man, your support. I remember you came up there to Nashville, man. I think it was our first year.
Yeah, Lipscomb, Lipscomb, and at Belmont.
And at Belmont, yep, that's right, man. Like I think about that often, man. And in a area of sport where, man, I think everybody got an opinion, man. Like I just, whether, not that I want everybody, saying the positive things about us. It ain't about that, but it's just people that understand that it takes time, that it takes it's a process, that it's not like an overnight thing. It's not a microwave thing, man. Like, I appreciate you, man, because you've asked real questions, you've asked tough questions, but man, you've always supported, man. So I truly appreciate that.
Anytime, brother, where I can help, man, I'll share, brother. Like I said, I'm be cheering for you. Like I don't hide it. I cheer for certain guys. I don't hide that. When you play this guy, I'm cheering for him over you. Yep. I make it clear. I'm cheering for Amir over a lot of people. So I'm making clear.
My man. I appreciate you, man. I do.
Anytime, brother. You be safe, and I'll see you real soon, my guy.
All right, take care, boss man.
I see you, brother.
All right.